wanted to ask you, are you a bitch? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Metal Remains Backstage. My name is Manuel, and with me, as always, is my friend Carlos Cortez.
Hi, Manuel.
And Anna Brunner, vocalist of League of Distortion.
Hey, guys!
What you do the same? Are you an enemy? A friend? Are you a wolf or a lamb?
Hi, Anna. How are you?
Super good. We are absolutely excited because in 6 days we will release our debut album. And there's, of course, lots of work to do before that, but we can't wait.
Yeah, we're very excited as well.
Awesome.
We already listened to it, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we wanted to start with a very difficult question. This is something hard for many musicians when we start. What have you been listening to lately?
Oh, I thought it would be a math question. I would have totally sucked in that. But that is a hard question too, because once you're so much into doing your own music and finalizing the production, you kind of just listen to your own tracks all day over and over again, and sometimes don't even have the mindset to listen to other bands. To be honest, I did listen to a lot of Anna's OK, because that is also the band we will be on tour with, and Caliban. So that's kind of also my thing to get into the zone and the mood of the bands I'm going to be on tour with. Plus, yeah, now that we're talking about it, I did listen to a lot of Camelot the last days because I had a guest appearance with them too. So got to listen to a lot of songs from them too.
Yeah, they're a great band, and we want to check out that participation as well. I wasn't aware of that, so we're going to take a look at it.
Great.
And it makes perfect sense that you're getting in the mood for the upcoming tour. League of Distortion is a brand new band founded by you, Anna, who you were part of this band Exit Eden, a project that involved big names in the realm of metal, such as Sasha Peth, Amanda Somerville, Clementine Deloney, just to name a few, and Jim Mueller, guitarist of the band, that told us in an interview that they plan to become the greatest rock band in the world. We're talking about Kiss and Dynamite.
Of course we are.
Can you tell us how this league was created?
Yeah. So the idea of after Exit Eden and also during, I was always planning on a band with people I knew, people I've played music with, and to have a strong message and a strong vision with this band. Musically doing totally the style that I want to do without any limits and without any guidelines. So this had been in my mind for a long time. And it actually wasn't until 2020 with COVID and the whole stagnation that I really sat down with my ideas and visions, put down the first drafts of songs, and got together with the band, with the people I wanted to be part of the band, with Jim Müller, for example, with Axe and Ian, my bandmate.
Your self-titled album, League of Distortion, is coming out on November 25th. Congratulations on that. We already listened to it, but before we give you our thoughts about it, can you describe the sound of the band for the people who haven't yet?
Yeah, I think to describe it, it has a modern sound. Find the modern metal core sounds in it with the low guitars and the technical sounds. There's also some symphonic vibes through the melodies, through the songwriting maybe as well, but also kind of a poppy approach and electronic sounds going on too. So it's a real mixture. And I like to say that it has different shades of metal.
We can tell by listening to it that it has different influences mixed together with some electronic tunes, so it makes it sound very modern, as you were saying. In the pool, or should we say ocean, of metal vocalists out there, sometimes it's difficult to find a voice that doesn't sound similar to everybody else. And we are happy to report that Manuel and myself agree that your voice is very special and unique. How did you find and develop your singing style?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I always loved to scream. I'd always loved to not just sing pretty, but just to let it out. And with my rock bands I had before as a teenager, I did that, and I didn't even want to sound pretty at times and just let out my emotions. And of course, it is a vocal style to sing with distortion, and that's something I did learn and perfectionize over the years. But I think I just have a certain type of voice that lets this happen. So this I feel very comfortable because it does have a bigger sound too. I also can sing soft and sweet, but I always rather like to hear myself with the power and the distortion.
My first impression when I started listening to the band, I thought there might be some growls or what we hear in death metal music, because it's sometimes required for vocalists to actually be heard in this type of mix, but it wasn't necessary, and that left me very impressed with the quality of the sound.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I agree that it provides this unique sound to the band. And I think when people listen to the record, they will recognize you immediately the next time they listen to a new song or a new album. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me because as a singer, at times you just think your voice is normal and you look at the other people and see how good they sing. And then it's like, this means a lot to me. Thank you.
Especially when you have such talented friends like yours.
You're right. Exactly.
A track that stands out to us is the song Sing, because it conveys a strong message on a very sensitive topic. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, this is one of the very, very important songs to me on this track. I've been thinking about that a lot. I mean, to really be straightforward, it is about sexual abuse of the priests in the Catholic Church. So that is the main topic, but it's also about sexual abuse in general, which is a terrible, terrible topic. And I did think about writing about this earlier, but I didn't really have the strength to do it. And once we started with the instrumental of this song, I couldn't get that off my mind. I was trying to find different topics suiting this idea, but it didn't work. I needed to. My mind was so set on this topic, and then I gave it the opportunity. I actually also did a lot of research, what was really, really hard, because I sometimes have the feeling that I get the feelings of other people, even through just reading or watching documentaries about that. And I got together with a man who was over 70 and who had been sexually abused by his priest back when he was a child, which was terrible, terrible, crazy for him to tell me about it, but it helped him. And he said, you know what, it's good for us to talk about it. It's good for the people to still have the attention because it was there. People did that, and some people weren't even convicted for that. And I want to talk about topics because it's so unfair and so terrible. And I do not want this to be forgotten. And people like this guy is still waiting for getting any money. I mean, money isn't worth a lot, but at least getting something back from the Catholic Church for what had been done to him.
They act like it's a problem that people made up, and I think that aggravates even more the situation. So we understood this was something very important, and it's very heavy subject. So thank you very much for talking about it.
Thank you.
And I think the song is important because the message will echo on those that has been through a difficult situation like that. It will help them to find a voice, and hopefully it will encourage them to look for help or justice or just to talk about it, because when someone goes through a traumatic situation like that, you keep it to yourself. You don't tell to anybody because you feel ashamed, and that creates this big tension inside of you that is growing and is eating you alive, and is not good at all. So it's very important, and we appreciate the fact that you have written a song about it.
Thank you. And that is exactly what I'm hoping for, that people feel understood, don't feel alone with these feelings, and go out and seek for help.
Great. You guys have released 3 music videos so far, with a 4th one on the way. The first one being Wolf or Lamb, which is how we came to know your band in our weekly podcast that everyone should check out on youtube.com/Metal Remains. We make summaries of music videos, and the one for this video was kids visit their weird aunt to spend time with her in her scary mansion, but she transforms into a lycanthrope instead. Filming this video must have been so much fun. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yes, absolutely. It was an amazing experience. It was the first video we did. The record wasn't even done yet, but we were sure that we wanted Wolf or Lamb to be a single. So we went out there and already got everything going, although it wasn't all set in stone yet. Obviously, I was hoping to be able to have a real wolf in this video. I didn't really believe it, to be honest, but when I talked to the music video producer about my ideas, he says, "Oh, I have a contact there." And I was like, "What? Really? Real wolves?" Yeah. So this was one of the main highlights of the video, of course. I mean, the place where we filmed was amazing too. A crazy hotel, actually, and the people were super nice and helping us around. That was really great too. And also having the kids referring to like the Brother Grimm's fairy tales. So it's like it has associations, sets them free for people. Oh my God, what's going to happen next? You know? But also having this fairy tale vibe and also this symphonic vibe with this video, I thought was really great to start.
The next single, it's going to be I'm a Bitch, is the name of
I'm a Bitch, yeah.
I'm a Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to start with this, but Carlos and I talk about it, and we thought it's going to be very rude to make this question right on, you know, because we don't joke that way. We want to be very respectful with you, okay? So we want to talk about the video that's coming up, but I wanted to ask you, are you a bitch?
That is a very, very interesting question. I love it. And that is the topic of the song. Of course, we try to use a little bit of provocation to people's attention, because that's the way it works nowadays. And if you have to say, you need to get the attention first. And if that's the way we get, then great, we got the attention. It is about women being treated differently with different measures. Men being a gigolo because he goes on many dates, and we have all these nice words for men. And then if a woman does the same, she's a bitch. Mm-hmm. You know, that's so rough. And also what the people think about it. And I've experienced that throughout my time talking with girlfriends about this topic, that it's still there. People have different measurements for men and for women. And this is one topic we are taking and putting up front, but also meaning other topics, pay gap, and anything where men and women are treated not equally.
Yeah, sometimes we have very interesting conversations with my wife about how in corporate offices, on, I don't know, in a bakery, on whatever you want to go, there are always differences on men and women. People keep saying, oh yeah, we're all equal. But in reality, let's not go beyond the metal scene. Years ago, probably talking about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't really common to see a woman in concerts or in a band performing, it was like a male-dominated scene. And when a girl was coming to show, some metalheads were rude and treating this girl like she was not part of the community at all. They were not embracing that, and that wasn't fair back then. It has improved a lot, but there is still room for improvement nowadays. So hopefully we are going to keep thinking forward, and we're going to keep making that gap decreasing little by little until there will be one day that the gap will no longer be there, hopefully.
Yes, exactly. And this is what we with League of Distortion also want to encourage, thinking about things, having that in your mind again and seeing the situation and maybe changing it by talking about it or talking to your friends about it or even just starting to think about it.
So sorry for asking it that way. I wanted to see what came up, and it made me blush because it's not it's not something you go asking everybody all the time, but it really caught our attention, that song, and the way you phrase things with that ironic tone. It comes out very, very good. And about the video of it, what is it about?
You can expect underlining the statement of the song. Also, in the provocative way, the way we dance and move and play the instruments with that song, because it is a different style of music too. I mean, that's not the typical metal track, and we even try to show that visually with a build-up of the instruments, which I really like. And then there's, of course, some special effects going on. Yes, and also just by the way I'm dressed, it's one thing people think, and then with this message, I hope it makes them think twice
before asking such questions in interviews. And I see that you have a very distinct look for your band. You use a lot of prosthetics and props. Are you planning to perform live anytime soon? And will you be bringing those attires with you as well?
Yes, we have a tour planned in November, end of November. Beginning of December, actually. It's unfortunately just German-speaking countries. It's Germany,
I can say hello,
and Austria.
You can say hello? Does that count?
Yeah, you can say. And, absolutely. And well, I wish we would be out there in the very, very first tour in Europe, or the US is always hard to get to. Yep. So, but this is the start. This is the start in our where we come from, and then the next step will be Europe, and I hope that the step after that will be the US sometime, South America.
Absolutely. Before we go, Anna, can you share with us one of your favorite backstage moments?
Oh yeah, so I think one of them was with Kiss and Dynamite when I was there on tour in 2019. The lead singer of the support band was a tattoo artist, and he had his tattoo equipment with him, and we were like joking around who all is going to get a tattoo. And me being like the guest singer, not really even being part of those two bands, I was like, yeah, I'll get it, definitely. So it ended up, it only were 3 people getting the tattoo. I was one of them.
What did you get?
We got like the route of the tour and a mixture of Kiss and Dynamite and Black Rain, a special design extra for this.
And is it a good idea to get a tattoo while on the road?
Yeah. It was okay. We were pretty careful.
Well, we love League of Distortion's fusion of modern metal with electronic sounds. It's very futuristic, but also classic and timeless. So we invite everyone watching to check them out. Go buy their album League of Destruction, which comes out on November 25th. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to their channel. Follow them on Instagram and all that. Also follow us. Why not? You can find many things in our channel, so check us out as well. Anna, we can't wait to watch you play live and meet you in person in the future.
Thank you. I had a great time. Thank you for your questions and your interest in the band and digging into the songs and the lyrics the way you did. It really means a lot to us.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Until then... Stay metal.
Hell yeah!
What I do like is your haircut, which I tried to emulate, shaving the sides, but nothing. There was nothing on top.